Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm David Musingi, and today I begin by thanking God for this good opportunity that was given to me to get to share with you, to get to deliver a certain message, a certain topic which I know it shall help you in your life. And very much welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you. Just pay attention and make sure that you follow up, you subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, that you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. And I know it shall be well with you. Okay, my today's topic is about mistakes. It's very wide and I will discuss it briefly, and feel very much welcome to my YouTube channel. Now I want us to know how mistakes are correctable, how mistakes are rectified, how mistakes are modified. And first of all, I begin by defining the word mistake. I know some people have asking themselves what is meant by mistake. Okay, to make it clear, mistake is to commit an intentional error or blunder, or to do something, or to think something wrong. That is the definition of the word mistake that we are going to deal with today. There are several mistakes, the career mistakes and even life mistakes that we normally make. Okay, I begin by saying this, that if you normally if you normally believe that only stupid people make mistakes, you are wrong as I was. Why? Because all people make mistakes, and even the smart people, they don't make mistakes. You see? And I'll begin by mentioning several mistakes that you normally make. For example, neglecting your health is a mistake. Not taking care of yourself is a mistake. Being overconfident, always trying to be right, you see now. And even underrating the effort. Underrating the effort is a mistake. And finally, you find that you are not driven by purpose, you're not driven by goal in your life. That is a mistake. And there's several ways or criteria that you can use to correct these mistakes. Number one, acknowledging your errors. You have to accept that you have the full responsibility of the role of the outcome that comes thereafter. You have committed this unintentional error. You have to take that responsibility by accepting that you have made those errors. Secondly, that is number two, you have to ask yourself questions. Ask yourself questions. How will you ask yourself questions? For example, you can say that what went wrong? What went wrong that this mistake came into occurrence? See, you can even ask yourself, what can I do better next time to avoid this mistake? You can even try to ask yourself, what have I learned from this mistake? What have I discovered from these mistakes? Because mistakes are portals of discovery. Now you have to ask yourself, what have you discovered from this portal? Because they are just portals of discovery. Try to analyze what you have learned, and thereafter write your responses, what you have learned, what you need to do better, what went wrong, and you analyze. You note them, you keep them for your future reference. Anytime you feel that you want to commit this mistake, you refer there. This is where went wrong. And because this is where went wrong, it is very easy to correct that mistake. For example, if you are doing certain activity next time, you find that you are watchful. For you not, you're so conscious for you not to commit this mistake again that you made there before. You see now? Okay, next point, you can make it harder not to mess up. How will you make it harder not to mess up again? By increasing the chances of your success in your life. How will you increase the chances of success in your life? By being positive, because thereafter you have learned something from this mistake. Try to increase chances of success. Try to increase chances of not committing this mistake again. Another thing, you can make a list. Create a list of the reason why you don't want to mess up again, why you don't want to do this mistake again. You can note the reason why you should not make that mistake again. For example, you can say that this mistake led this to happen into my life. This mistake caused me to fail. This mistake did this to me. By writing the reasons why you don't want to commit that mistake again, and that one shall help you to correct that mistake, to rectify it, to modify it, not to occur again in your life. Another thing, you have to move forward with your newfound wisdom. Move forward with your newfound wisdom, because after committing this mistake, there is something that you have learned. No, why am I saying that there is something I've learned? Because when learning is trying to occur, there is elasticity of your brain muscle. There's stretching of your brain muscle. You see, and you recognize that this mistake has given me an opportunity. How has it given you an opportunity? You have learned something through this mistake. Now, because you have learned something, your brain muscle has been elastated. You see, move forward with this wisdom. There is certain knowledge you have gained from this mistake. Because where there is learning, there is knowledge. There is delivering of knowledge. So you have gained something now. You have gained a certain wisdom. So move forward with this wisdom. And when you move forward with this wisdom, it will be it's like not very easy for you to commit a mistake again, because you are wise. You see now, and those are the ways that you can use to correct mistakes. Okay, there are some people who are thinking, when they commit a mistake, they end up thinking about this mistake in their life, durations. You find that every time you start thinking about a mistake that you meant there before, and that affects affects you psychologically. You find that you may enter into stress, and even that this stress may make you fail, because there's no confidence in you. The confidence has been lost by thinking about a mistake that you done, and this mistake is acting as a barrier for you to achieve a certain goal in life. And there's a way that I want to tell you that there is a way that you can use to stop thinking about the past mistakes. That's why I normally say that let the past not interfere with your future. And how will the past not interfere with your future? By stopping thinking about the past. Because when something has occurred, you have no control over it. Now, first thing that you need to do is about accept mistakes are part of life. And when you accept that mistakes are part of life, the thought of thinking about the past mistakes will go away, will deviate from you. You see now? You see? Will disappear from your life, because you have already accepted that mistakes are part of life. Another thing that you need to do, first of all, forgive yourself. Why are you forgiving yourself? You're forgiving yourself that because you're the one you took part in committing this mistake. Forgive your inner self. Stop accusing yourself. Stop beating yourself up because of a mistake that you did there before. Just forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Because when you fail to forgive yourself, you find that when you are in a crowd of people, when you are socializing with friends, it will be very difficult for you. Because when someone who has not forgiven himself, himself, you find that he has undervalued himself or herself. There's no confidence in him. And thing that you need to do, be aware of your feeling. Yes, you did this mistake. If your feeling allows you to, when you cry, you find that when you cry, this mistake will go away. Just cry. Express your feeling. Just cry. If your feelings tell you that go and share with your friend, just go, do so. If your feelings tells you that you shout aloud. Do what your feelings says. Be aware of them. Be aware of your feelings. Another thing that you need to do, write about your mistake. Take a piece of paper, write about your mistake, what you learned from your mistake. Write down. You can even write down in a piece of paper, and you stick, you place it on the wall of your room, and every time these mistakes, that decide to commit this mistake again comes in your life, to do that a certain sin comes in your life, you find that you read and you see that, no, this mistake led this to happen unto my life. Now I will not commit it again. Why? Because you have wrote something about your mistake. You can even also write something your mistake in your mind and even your heart. You see what you learned from this mistake, and this one will make you stop thinking about the mistake. You see now. Another thing that you need to do is focus on what is in your control, because mistake is something that happens unintentionally. You commit it unintentionally, means that it's something that you have no control over it. Now, for you to stop thinking about mistake, you have to focus on what you have control on it. Focus on what you have control on it. If something like mistake you have no control over it, just leave it. Move on with your life. Let it not interfere with your life. Let it not interfere you from moving forward. You see now. Another thing that you need to do is think I can't doubt about yourself. Always have that positivity in your mind. Think about positive thoughts. A kind thought, a thought that doesn't discriminate you. Think about that kind thought. Always just think positively about your life, because when you start thinking about your failures, you'll be dragged down, you'll be dragged behind. But when you start thinking about kind things about your life, you'll be utaenda forward. You see, you'll move forward. You see now. Another thing that you need to do is talk to someone you trust. If these mistakes have become a big deal to you, have become not just a mistake that watu wengine, they can become a sickness to them. You find they can become something is like their weaknesses. Go and share with your friend or a person that you trust. You can share with a certain psychologist, a certain counselor, someone whom you trust, a certain social worker, and that person will help you stop thinking about these mistakes. Why? Because it try to show you that there is strength in you. There is strength in you to rectify this mistake. It try to do to activate that strength in you to be in work. You see now, and it shall be well with you. And that is all about how you can stop thinking about mistake. And to be brave, I want to tell you that stop beating yourself up over the past mistakes. Stop beating yourself, And this allows me to move to the next question. How do I forgive myself for mistakes? How do I forgive myself for mistakes? This is how you can forgive yourself for mistakes. First of all, number one, think of each mistake as a learning mistake. Every mistake that happens occurred in your life, take that mistake. It is a discovery of something in your life, as a learning, it is something that brought wisdom to you. And when you think about that, you'll find that you will forgive yourself, because you have thought that this mistake is something that made me to learn something else. You see? And number two, quit the negative message from your inner critic. That message of negativity, that message, because negative things drags you behind, drags you, inakufanya usalie pale nyuma. So make sure that you quit. Quitting. How will you quit this message? You'll stop thinking about that message that is negative, that message that is trying to accuse you that you are a failure. Stop thinking about it by quitting from it. Another thing that you need to do is for you to forgive yourself, acknowledge the mistakes loud. You can shout the mistake, I will not do this. I will not do this again. This error will not happen in my life again. By shouting it loudly. You can shout it, because the moment you shout it loudly, you're trying to move that something from your inner. You release it. It's like you may release outside. You don't want it to stay in you. You want to be set free from it. See, even the word of God said that when we resist the devil, and how do we resist the devil? We resist the devil by shouting. So, for you to resist this mistake, resist it by shouting. Acknowledge it loud, not silently. And you shall forgive yourself from that mistake. Another thing that you need to do is like focus on your emotions. Focus on your emotions. Focus on your emotions. Your emotion tells you that when you cry, when you do this, this shall be done with you. You shall be free from this mistake. This mistake will move, will deviate from your inner mind. You see, inner thoughts. Do that. And that you need to do, like, have a conversation with your inner critic. Try to converse inside you. Try to converse. Yes. This mistake, you are trying to converse. In that area of that mistake. How this mistake happened. You are conversing yourself. And through that conversation, you'll find that you are gaining strength. And this strength will help you forgive yourself from this mistake, because after that conversation, there's something that you'll gain. Another thing that you need to do is like notice when you are self-critical. What is self-critical? Is whereby you are able to find that mistake and even the possibilities for improvement. Be aware. When you discover that, you find this mistake, I did this mistake, because you cannot forgive yourself for something that you never did. You're forgiving yourself for something that you did. Now, be aware when you are self-critical, when you are able to find this mistake that you did there before, and after you find it, find the possibilities, find the chances for you to make improvements, for chances to make success, to attract success in your life, and it shall be well with you. If you cannot accept that you made this mistake, you cannot correct it. That mistake becomes uncorrectable in your life. For you to correct a mistake, first of all, you have to admit to yourself that you did that. You have to accept that you had all the responsibilities about this happening that occurred in your life. Because you cannot change something that you have not even admitted it. So, for me, mistakes are correctable. So if you have been there thinking about mistakes are not correctable, you are wrong. Try to accept that you made those mistakes in your life, and they will become easy for you to rectify them. That's why I'm saying that mistakes are reporters of discovery, and only discover from a mistake after accepting you made this mistake. You see? And if you don't make mistake in your life, you are living a half life. We all make mistakes. In one way or the other. Even in our studies, we normally make mistakes. So if you are there thinking about that mistakes are only for several people, mistakes are only for a certain category of people, you are wrong. And remember that you are living a half life. Mistakes do occur. And there is nothing like looking back on your past experience and seeing how you overcame. You look back in your past experience. This experience you gained it from committing a certain blunder. And this will help you now realize how you overcame a certain situation in your life. You see now, and mistakes are good. Mistakes are good because they help us learn faster. And mistakes are also bad. How are they bad? They may trigger you. They may trigger our fixed mindset voice, and thereafter we become frustrated and we end up giving up, depending on how you take it. The reason why mistakes becomes bad in your life is how you take a mistake. You know, how you take it, how you take that, how you carry that mistake is how it brings a disadvantage or an advantage. So you have to take a mistake positively. It's something that occurs in the lives of people, and to move forward with your life. But the moment you take mistake negatively, it will interfere with your success. It will interfere with your forward moving. You see now. You see now. And problem is not making mistake. Making mistake is not problem. Problem is how we perceive our mistakes and how we feel about them. So problem is not just making that mistake that you make in life. That's not the problem. Problem is how you perceive this mistake, how you take this mistake, and how will you feel about this mistake. Will you feel that this mistake has something that has diminished you? How will you feel that this mistake has something that has meant you learn something? That is the problem now. So don't think that the problem is just making mistake. Making a mistake is not an issue. You see? You see now. So be watchful on how you perceive your mistakes. The perception of your mistakes matters a lot than the occurrence of the mistake. Because mistakes, they do occur. Now just be keen on how this mistake you will perceive it. How will you take this mistake that has happened in your life and shall be well with you? And no one can avoid mistake. You can't avoid mistake. You can't avoid mistake. And don't dwell on mistakes. When mistakes occur, move forward. Don't dwell in them. Leave those mistakes behind and move on with your life. Focus on your future. Don't dwell in them, because the moment you dwell on them, my friend, you will be exhausted. Sinsawa. So that is the only that I have for today. And maybe there is someone who has a certain question concerning a mistake. You can air it through the comments. You can contact me. I try to elaborate more about that topic, and I know that it shall be well with you. If there is certain issue that is disturbing you in your life, a certain mistake that is interfering you to go on, just perceive the mistake positively and shall be well with you. Otherwise, thank you for listening, thank you for following, and then thank you for subscribing, and may God bless you, may God favor you, may God be with you. And I'm always with you. I'm always willing to support you. I'm always willing to help you discover the strength in you, the strength to overcome the mistake, the strength to overcome any kind of a situation that may happen in your life. And may God favor you, and may we meet next time, God's will.